Okay, today we are playing a game on King's Row. The average SR of this game was roughly 3,300, and we will be playing Genji on defense and Zarya on attack. And our current team composition is D.Va, Zarya, Genji, Hanzo, Mercy, and Zenyatta. So the issue I have with our current team comp is that with our DPS being Genji and Hanzo, we are pretty weak to a dive comp, because it usually consists of people that Genji and Hanzo either get countered by or just have a lot of trouble killing. Winston, D.Va, Zarya, Pharah, Genji, Tracer, this kind of thing. I feel like every defense team should have some kind of insulation against a dive comp, because if you're really weak to a dive comp and they come at you with a dive comp and they play it well, you get bowled over pretty fucking hard, and it can be very hard to slow down the attacking team's momentum off of that. So I would prefer if one of the DPS was playing something like Reaper, Doomfist, or McCree. You couldn't pick Doomfist at this point in time, I don't think. But either way, one of these people, because they're better at dealing with the dive comp. McCree not so much as the other two, but it's some insulation against the dive comp, which I always think is better to have than no insulation against a dive comp. So, anyway, let's start the game. We're defending first. We are playing Genji. This is slightly too loud. There we go. So, they are indeed going to come at us with a team that's hard to get a lot done against as Genji. And the overarching theme of the first segment of the game is going to be, we're pretty good at Genji. It's kind of hard for Genji to get a lot of work done against this team composition. So Hanzo's managed to pick off Lucio, and then Winston threw himself in to kill himself, so that's great. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention we are playing on the console as well. Looks like the Xbox, based on the hieroglyphics, but if that matters to you, we're watching a console game right now. I think this is a really good console game, because you kind of can't tell that it's a console game. There's a thing where people are like, oh, console players so much worse than PC players. You can't tell. I didn't know it was a console game until like 2/3 of the way through watching the video. Then I watched like the rotate that you do on the console, and I was like, oh, it's a console game. Actually, didn't notice for a really long time. So anyway, if you care, this is a console game. So we've come out, we've picked off Lucio, we dash back in, so great, awesome, we've managed to pick off a few people, we managed to pick off their Reaper right there. Winston's going in while half his team's dead. He's been nano boosted, so he's like, well shit, I gotta keep trying to fight. And then he just gets killed, because it wasn't the time to go in, and they're all really very upset about that one, I'd wager. So, enemy team really helping us out. Hanzo picked off the Lucio was helpful, but then Winston helped us out, and now the enemy team is just helping us in general by sort of killing themselves on us. So, here comes Genji. He's using his Dragon Blade, and he gets quite a few people killed with it. I keep trying to, use my keyboard to go back, but I don't have a new keyboard soon, but not today. So, the thing, with oh god, the volume's all fucked up. So, we take a very, defensive action when this Genji comes at us. Well, he's not really coming at us, but we see him pop out and he uses the Dragon Blade, and we just immediately deflect, like, oh shit, he's gonna kill us. He actually immediately pivots to try and get the Mercy instead, and we're like, oh shit, try and dash through him. I would honestly prefer if you try to kill him rather than have the deflect reaction, because deflecting him isn't gonna save you, really. And I get, you're kind of afraid he's gonna cut you right there, but I'd rather you just try and, shuriken him and kill him, frankly, because it's, probably a better chance overall of actually and this is the kind of situation where you just want to die faster, because your whole team is dead right now, and you're just prolonging your death, but this death is definitely coming for you. There's no way you get out of this one, so you should die faster, because this is just gonna take your death is just going to be really staggered now compared to your team. See, they're all respawning and coming back, you've only just died, so it just takes even longer for your team to actually regroup. So I would prefer if you try to just kill the Genji, because it's not really gonna save you, and maybe if you get lucky, you kill him and, save the Mercy, which is pretty good to try and save the Mercy usually, but probably fucked either way, because the whole team just they just come in with a bunch of ultimates and very quickly just roll over our team, because we don't really have anything to stop them with. So that's all happening out there. Oh, deflect doesn't work on that. Duck back in here. Whole team's dead again. Oh, most of the team's alive again. D.Va died right after the res. This is good, because most Genjis would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in and just start cutting into that Graviton. We dashed past the Graviton, we killed the Mercy first, she can't res anybody, and then we come back and start cutting these people over here. Awesome, great, textbook, it's all good. Mercy not really deciding to hide in a very good location, just sort of around the corner through the glass window, so pretty easy for us to just get on her and kill her. And there's nowhere for her to go, because the rest of her team is on the Graviton, So we come up here, and we have the panic reaction to just sort of deflect back at him immediately. It's Winston, and deflect is a fairly important cooldown that you don't want to just use for no reason. And it's not like I think you're going to get punished for it in this position, but I didn't know he had that voice line. What was I saying? I got distracted by Genji's dance moves. Probably was. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get punished for it there, but you don't want to, like, use your deflect on something that you can't deflect like that. So Genji came at us with Nano Blade, and there's nothing we can do about that one. So we're just sort of gonna have to try and run away now, because our whole team got killed by Nano Blade, which is sort of the point of Nano Blade. It's relatively counterplayless. It's not completely counterplayless, but it's very hard to stop a Nano Blade from wiping your whole team. And we're playing Genji, so we've got almost no way of stopping it other than just managing to get lucky with a kill on the other Genji. Very risky maneuver. I don't really like watching a Genji do the thing where they walk up in somebody's face doing the deflect, like, oh, come on, kill yourself on me. Because if the Reaper's good, he just stares you in the eye while you're doing that, and then kills you after deflect ends. There's, like, a few, like, whenever the Genji goes up to the McCree, like, come on, kill yourself with Deadeye, and he just looks at them, like, you know, it's a tamer example, obviously, than that, but I play a lot of Reaper. I really like playing Reaper. And when a Genji comes up to me like that, I just look him in the eye, and he's like, oh shit, he didn't kill himself on me. And then I shoot him in the face, and he's like, oh fuck, oh god, I gotta try and get out. I don't like watching Genjis do that. Because it's a play that, doing that against anybody, it's a play that assumes your opponent has no self-control and is bad. And I think it's best to assume that your opponents know what they're doing until shown otherwise, so I just don't like seeing Genji players do that. Against anyone, basically. I find plays that assume the enemy team are bad generally are not very good. So Genji's got another Dragon Blade already, so this is very unfortunate for us, obviously. We also have Dragon Blade. I would probably use Dragon Blade right there, but then, like, this happens, which is, you know, kind of fucks with our whole groove. I would probably use it as soon as Mercy reses, because then it's like, alright, Mercy res, we're gonna try and swing it back around with Dragon Blade, with the tempo, and then, you know, the D.Va bomb would happen immediately afterwards, and I'd be really sad, but I would be like, alright, now we're gonna try and swing it back around with the tempo off the res, and then I'd be really sad about it. And there's really no other time to use it, even though we have it this whole fight. Every other point during the fight just looks like we're gonna lose the fight regardless what we do, so it's better to just hold on to the Dragon Blade. It's the street phase on King's Row, which you usually just write off as collateral if you lose the first point, so it's not the end of the world if we just, like, hold the ult and let them have that checkpoint, because no, like, who expects to hold the street phase on King's Row, right? It's a fool's dream, just like dreaming of holding the street phase on Numbani. Doesn't happen. So we hold the ult, fine, you know, the more conservative play. So, he pops up on us, and there's really not a lot we can do other than run away better, really. And this, you know, the theme of this round is really like, yeah, I think we're playing Genji fine for the most part. It's just like, it's hard to get much done against that team as Genji. I feel like our time would be better spent playing, a lot of the work done. Now we're gonna go in with Dragon Blade right here, and we're gonna kill a lot of people, and this is where we start to actually kill their momentum, and we start to gain some of our own. I feel like a lot of our time in this game would be better off, because what's really doing work on their team is their own Genji. So I feel like our time would be better spent on McCree, trying to just counter their Genji. Look, here comes Nanoblade again. And there's not a lot we can do about that. We find Reaper doing this, and we just drive him off. Mercy's like, oh shit, don't want to be up here anymore. And, like, Nanoblade happened over there, there's not a lot we can do about that. So we're just trying to bully their supports instead right now. As one generally does when you're playing Genji. This is also what you do versus a dive comp setup as Genji. You're really bad at killing 4 out of 6 members of the dive comp generally, so you just really focus on killing their supports because they're the ones you're good at killing, and you generally want to focus on doing the things your hero is strong at. Strong at doing. That was a really awful sentence, so whatever. But anyway, the point I was making earlier, their Genji's been doing a lot of work, so I feel like our time would be better spent playing something like McCree, so that we can try and stop the Genji, or Doomfist. Also, Doomfist is really good against Genji. Nothing makes me feel happier than when I see the Genji start using Deflect and I just punch him in the face and he dies anyway. Feels really good, man. I still don't think you could have played Doomfist at this point in time. No, I don't. You definitely couldn't have. We're gonna kill these supports right now. This is what you do. They don't have a Winston anymore, also, which is very helpful for us. Like, there's a Reinhardt here. Reinhardt is not gonna kill you that quickly, so we get to just bully his supports to death, which is great. This is what you do against this team comp as Genji. Or also, I feel like our time could have been better spent also on, like, Reaper, because we could have just, basically really killed their Winston's jive, and then Reaper is still good at fighting, like, most of the other people on their team. Mercy's really sad about this one. Tried to run away to hide. Her retreat was blocked off by the self-destruct. That's happening behind us. We were focusing on their Ana. We killed their Ana, so even though we die, you know, we killed the Ana for it, so it's probably still worth it in the end. D.Va didn't block the Death Blossom, so that's, you know, that's kind of her area, so, you know, it's hard to be too upset about getting killed by it at the same time. So, most of our team did end up getting killed, even though we killed their supports. We've spotted their Mercy. We're bullying their Mercy around again. Yeah, you know, that's how you play Genji. There Genji's using Nanoblade again. Looks like he tried to peel back to try and kill us with the Nanoblade, because he was suddenly running back at us with it, rather than into our team. So, not generally the best use of a Nanoblade. It's not exactly a defensive ult combination, so you would have been better off just going all in and trying to kill our team with it. Because that's sort of the point of Nanoblade, you kind of get to kill the entire enemy team for free, mostly. So, yeah, I feel like we played the round about as well as we could have. It's just, it's gonna be hard versus that team composition as Genji, and I feel like the only thing we could have probably done better is just play a different hero to Genji, really. Because it's just like, well, Nanoblade's happening, what can we do about that? Fucking nothing, basically. So, 2 of them are dead right now, by the way, because our Widowmaker just picked off 2 of them immediately. We've spotted this over here. We want to just walk right at them, because 2 of their DPS are dead right now. There's also a Symmetra and a Torbjorn, so they're pretty all in right now. And their only healer is Ana. Ana's now dead. We have won this point and we didn't have to do anything, because Widowmaker killed 2 people immediately. And what are they gonna do about it at that point? They're gonna get fucked. That's what they're gonna do, and that's what happened to them. They got fucked. Soldier's over here. Soldier should have just died quicker. We managed to get quite a lot of charge as well, but we didn't really have anything to use it on, because they were all already dead, so what can you do? First world problems. Can't use my high energy, because my team killed everyone before I could get to them. Isn't it sad? Doesn't it feel bad, man? So, we didn't have to worry about that at all. The street phase, usually pretty free money, so we shouldn't really have to worry about this whole setup in general. Genji is also dead right now. We're high on energy right now. We weren't high on energy, and then we just got 20 off of that real quick. just right-click into the turret nest. It's a fairly, like, minor thing, really, but if you right-click into the turret nest, it just kills everything faster than left-clicking the turrets, because the turrets only have 1 hit point. Had a bit of lag right there, as we might have noticed, so their shield generator got put down and immediately broken, so Symmetra's probably really happy about that. Symmetra's also dead right now. We're high energy, and D.Va's trying to fight us. She's not allowed to do that. She has to leave. As you can see, we're not really having to do too terribly much right now, because the enemy team is, kind of just getting bowled over right now. It's pretty much a straight snowball straight through the street phase, which is the street phase. It's not exactly an uncommon occurrence. So we've almost got Graviton built up right now, which is great news, and we don't have to push it that much further. So, probably thinking at this point, I'd be thinking, I can probably win us the game right here if I just Graviton well. We do get chunked down pretty low right there, but we back up. Here comes the Nano Blade. And we get cut to death. There is advice that I have seen people giving, where they're like, if you see Nano Blade coming at you, you should Graviton the Genji, because now the Genji can't dash out of Graviton anymore. I do not really believe in that advice, because there are a lot of ways to just miss Genji, or you can Graviton the Nano Blade and he's still in position to kill people. I think it's better to just take the death on the chimp, and just try and get, now that you have more ultimates than them, because they just use Nano Blade. We use Death Blossom, but they use Nano Blade, which is like their big money maker. I think it's better to just hold the ultimate and then try and use it better in the next fight. But I've seen a lot of people being like, yeah, you should try and Graviton the Genji when he's coming in with Nano Blade. That's like so easy to fuck up, and Graviton is not an ultimate that you want to fuck up using, because it takes a while to build up another Graviton. So, that was a really good Graviton opportunity, because we could have caught a lot of people in it, but we also knew 2 people on our team were dead at the time, so we weren't actually going to get very much follow-up. So even though we had an opportunity to get like 4 or 5 people with the Graviton a second ago, wouldn't have actually been very good, because they would have likely just sat in the Graviton and then gotten out of it. If we knew that D.Va was going to throw her ult in, then maybe we would have used it, but we didn't know that was happening. So, and all we knew was some of our team was dead, so we didn't want to use it. So, now, however, our team has been recollecting. Mercy res the 2 people who were dead. We are just slowly killing this Winston. There's, like, points in here that I might have Graviton, because, like, right in the doorway right there were, like, 3 people you could have caught with the Graviton. And I would have probably taken that Graviton, because you kill the 3 people, push it, like, 3 feet further, and then you win the game. And you shouldn't need, like, a big wombo combo to kill the 3 people that were left, really. So I would have just taken the Graviton in the hallway over here, and been like, yep, these 3 people will die now, and we will win the game. Reinhardt's doing this. Reinhardt doesn't touch the point because he's gone too far. So we never even ended up using the Graviton. I would have taken the 3-man Graviton in the hallway and just been like, yeah, easy money. We'll just go off that. So, I don't feel like we didn't have to do anything as Zarya, really. Because we got the first point really quickly because their team comp was bad, and Widow... Okay, it was partly their team comp was bad, but Widowmaker also got 2 picks right as soon as the gate opened. So, that's generally gonna make it pretty easy at the same time. So they're a combination, you know? Yeah. You know, played Genji. So we didn't really have to do anything as Zarya. One of those instances where, yeah, you know, you win without really having to do very much. With Genji, like, nothing, you know, I mean, this is the thing, this is like 3,300 SR, so, like, starting to get into Masters, like, you'll see Master players at that SR. You generally don't see huge overarching issues anymore, because by this point, they've usually been ironed out, and it tends to be a lot more small, nitpicky things, like, yeah, you don't want to deflect when you find the Winston in the door frame, because you can't do anything if you deflect the Winston, and, you know, there's the possibility you get killed while that deflect is on cooldown. probably not going to happen, but it is a possibility. It becomes a lot more about percentage-based plays, where it's like, you now have to just try and get, like, the 1% more efficiency out of your hero than the other team. And it becomes more like that rather than like, oh look, their McCree just rolled into us and trying to kill somebody and we killed him and then we rolled over them because they were now missing a DPS player. That doesn't happen anymore. It starts becoming things like, our Reinhardt managed his shield HP 1% worse than the other Reinhardt, so we got earth shattered and died. And that's how we lost the game. Like, Zarya, we didn't have to do anything. I would have taken the Graviton that we didn't take, but we won regardless, so it doesn't even matter. Widowmaker won us the first point, and then we just snowballed straight over the rest of the round, so we didn't have to worry about it. I feel like we played about as well as on Genji as we could have done, especially once their momentum actually died down. I just think the best thing we could have done was change off Genji, because I feel like even though we played fine as Genji, and ended up having an impact once we killed some of their momentum, I think we could have just had a bigger impact as a different hero. McCree, Reaper, Doomfist, and I think any of these heroes would have just had a bigger impact than Genji. So even though we played fine as Genji, I think we could have also played fine on a different hero, and that would have gone better. So yeah, but I think we just played fine as Genji, about as well as we could with... If in the world where we only play Genji, I think we did it about as well as we could, barring one or two smaller things that we already talked about as they came up, but I would have just changed off Genji, because Genji's it's gonna be hard against that kind of team comp. But we also played against that team comp as well as we could, where, yeah, we're bad at killing those people, so we just really fucking killed their supports. And what could they do about it other than be really sad about it, basically? So... Thank you very much for watching if you did. Wait, let me just check the email really quick to make sure I'm not forgetting a question. There was a question, but it wasn't about Overwatch exactly. It was like about editing. I'm bad at editing, so you're asking the wrong guy. Don't know what to tell you about that one, especially on a Mac. So no questions from the email. Okay, so thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. And I hope you found the video helpful, even though it was, pretty straightforward. It's more like, yeah, we play Genji. Here's how you play Genji, not here's why we're bad at Genji.